Welcome to the video. First, we will reframe how to think about a financial windfall so you can convert it from a fleeting bonus into lasting financial leverage. We will move step by step from crushing high-interest debt to balancing savings and investments, while highlighting practical tactics and common pitfalls to avoid. Before we dive in, here is our roadmap. We will start by busting the cash is king myth when high-interest debt is present. Next, we will cover Phase 1, immediate credit card payoff. Then we will examine Phase 2, ranking debts by interest rate and using the Avalanche method. After that, we will run the investment test to decide when investing beats debt payoff. We will also expose loan pitfalls, especially around extra payments and principal allocation. Moving on, we will build a balanced post-debt plan with emergency funds, retirement contributions, and a small, controlled reward. Finally, we will wrap with an actionable checklist and a couple of quizzes to solidify your understanding. To begin, a quick disclaimer. This content is for education, not personalized financial, legal, or tax advice. Your personal circumstances, risk tolerance, and goals matter, and rates or policies can change. Consider consulting a qualified professional before acting. Next, let's tackle the myth. Keeping a large pile of cash while carrying a high-interest credit card balance is financially inefficient. The implicit, risk-free return from paying off a 20% interest balance typically dwarfs what you can earn in a savings account. Therefore, eliminating high-interest credit card debt is the priority. First, apply your windfall to eliminate all credit card balances immediately. Treat this as mandatory financial triage to stop compounding interest. The effective return from paying a 20% or higher APR is both risk-free and substantial. High-yield savings accounts, even at 4 to 5%, simply cannot compete with that return. Confirm your statement shows a zero balance and monitor for trailing interest in the next cycle. To visualize the decision, start when a windfall arrives. If there is any credit card debt, pay it off immediately and then reassess. If there is no credit card debt, check whether any remaining loans carry an interest rate above approximately 7%. If so, use the Avalanche method by directing extra payments to the highest APR first, while making minimum payments on the rest. If there are no high-rate debts, evaluate your emergency fund. If it is below target, build it up. Once the fund is adequate, increase retirement contributions and invest the remaining funds. At the end, after high-interest obligations are addressed and safety is in place, allocate a small, controlled portion for personal enjoyment. To put numbers into perspective, compare the annual effect of different rates on $1,000. A credit card at 24% costs you $240 over a year, if not paid. A car loan at 7% costs $70, and a student loan at 5.5% costs $55. Meanwhile, a high-yield savings account at 4.5% earns about $45, and a treasury or bond yielding 5% earns $50. This comparison highlights why paying down high-rate debt is so powerful relative to modest savings yields. Next, move to the interest rate showdown. List every remaining debt with its interest rate. Apply the Avalanche Rule. Send all extra dollars to the highest interest rate debt while paying minimums on other accounts. Do not be distracted by balance size. Focus on interest rate. Recalculate monthly because balances change and promotional rates can expire. This mind map centers on a bonus strategy. The first branch is eliminating high-interest liabilities. Pay credit cards immediately and use the Avalanche on loans above roughly 7%. The next branch is the investment test, where you compare debt APR to a realistic, low-risk expected return and choose investing only when returns exceed the debt cost. Another branch covers loan mechanics, emphasizing extra payments must reduce principals, watching for prepayment penalties, and understanding the amortization schedule. The safety net branch sets an emergency fund target of 3 to 6 months of major expenses. Finally, the treat yourself branch allows a small 5 to 10% allocation, but only after high-interest debt is gone. Meanwhile, apply the investment test. If your realistic, low-risk expected return exceeds the debt APR, consider channeling extra funds into investment instead of accelerated payoff. For example, if a car loan is at 7%, while risk-free treasuries are yielding 5%, prioritize paying the car loan first. Do not compare unsecured, volatile investments to a guaranteed debt cost. The comparison should be like for like. Remember to account for taxes and fees when they materially change the return. However, Some prefer the snowball method, which focuses on the smallest balance first for psychological wins. The Avalanche method targets the highest interest rate first and typically minimizes total interest paid, maximizing financial efficiency. Snowball can be motivating but may cost more in interest over time. Choose the method that you can adhere to, while recognizing the mathematical edge of the Avalanche. Next, avoid common loan pitfalls. When sending extra payments, specify that the additional amount must be applied to principal. Confirm the servicer is not merely advancing the due date. Review your loan terms for any prepayment penalties or fees. Use an amortization schedule to track how principal reduction shortens the loan and reduces total interest. Keep documentation for every extra payment and the servicer's confirmation. Quick knowledge check. The question is about choosing what to do with a $5,000 bonus when you also have $3,000 in credit card debt at 24% and a high-yield savings account at 4.5%. Options include keeping the cash, investing in volatile stocks, paying off the credit card immediately, or splitting between credit card and savings. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is to pay off the credit card debt immediately and then reassess. The reason is that eliminating a 24% APR is a risk-free return that far exceeds the high-yield savings account rate. After the debt is gone, you can rebuild your cash position and allocate the remaining funds according to your plan. After that, adopt a balanced approach. Maintain a healthy emergency fund size to cover major expenses. Increase retirement contributions, prioritizing any employer match. Invest in line with your risk tolerance and goals. Allocate a small reward, such as 5 to 10% of the windfall, but only after high-interest debt is cleared. Finally, automate savings and investing to maintain momentum. Here is a potential allocation once high-interest debt is eliminated. Half of the remaining funds could bolster the emergency fund, 40% can be directed to investing, and 10% reserved as a small reward. The exact percentages should be tailored to your needs, but the key is prioritizing resilience and long-term growth while allowing a controlled celebration. To structure the next 3 months, start in the first week by auditing all debts, listing APRs and terms, and paying off any credit card balances. In days 8 through 30, implement the Avalanche method on remaining loans, verify that extra payments reduce principal, and automate payments. During days 31 through 60, build your emergency fund and increase retirement contributions. In days 61 through 90, repeat the investment test, adjust allocations, and consider a small reward if milestones are achieved. Now let's convert this into action. First, audit all debts and list balances, interest rates, due dates, and any prepayment terms. Second, apply your windfall to eliminate all credit card debt immediately. Third, use the Avalanche method by directing extra cash to the highest APR debt while paying minimums on others. Fourth, conduct the investment test, comparing debt APR to a realistic low-risk return. Fifth, ensure extra payments are applied to principal and get written confirmation. Sixth, build or top up your emergency fund to your target. Seventh, increase retirement contributions, especially to capture any employer match. Eighth, automate transfers and review your plan monthly. Ninth, reserve a small, intentional reward after high-interest debt is gone. Another quick check. The question asks how to instruct a lender when making a $300 extra auto loan payment to maximize long-term interest savings. The options include applying to interest first, applying to the next month's payment, applying directly to principal reduction, or leaving it as a general prepayment without instruction. You may pause the video now to think about the answer. We will discuss the answer in the next section of the video. The correct answer is to apply the extra payment directly to principal reduction. Doing so shortens the life of the loan and reduces total interest paid. Always confirm with the servicer that the extra amount was applied as instructed and not simply used to advance the next due date. Therefore, here is a concise recap in checklist format. Phase 1. Pay all credit cards immediately. Phase 2. Use the Avalanche method and recalculate monthly. The investment test. Compare to realistic low-risk returns. Regarding loan mechanics, ensure extra payments reduce principal and be aware of penalties. Phase 3 focuses on building the emergency fund, boosting retirement, and allowing a small reward. Finally, automate contributions and review your plan monthly. In summary, Paying off high-interest debt provides a risk-free, high-return outcome. The Avalanche method typically minimizes total interest, though consistency is paramount. Invest extra only when low-risk returns exceed your debt's APR. Ensure extra payments are applied to principal and avoid any penalties. Finally, strike a balance by funding your emergency savings, increasing retirement contributions, and allowing a small reward. In conclusion, eliminate credit cards first without exception, sort remaining loans by APR, and apply the Avalanche. Then run the investment test before diverting funds to investments. Protect the plan by ensuring extra payments go to principal and by avoiding penalties. After high-interest debt is gone, balance resilience and joy by funding your emergency savings, increasing retirement contributions, and allowing a small reward. Finally, thank you for watching. If this helped you, please like the video, share it with someone who could benefit, and subscribe for more strategies each week. In the comments, tell us your next move with your windfall and what step you are taking today.